Okay, True. I'm recording something right now. Okay, so here's the clip art that I'm going to copy the puzzle pieces here, True. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy the image. Okay, I'm going to go back to VCarve and I'm going to paste it in there once again. Okay, that's going to go to the bitmap layer. That's on the bitmap layer. Now I would make a new layer, add a new layer and call it puzzle. Puzzle, right there. Okay, and make sure you're on that layer. Your layers, remember, are over here. Okay, now that I'm on that bitmap there, I select that little bird guy right there, right? And before we do that, let's back up one step. Let's close that and let's turn off layer 1 where the bird is at. Okay, so we turn that off. Now there's just the puzzle there. That's the layer we're looking at. We turn that layer off so we can't see that. So I select my bitmap, right? Hit the bird, right? Now that's going to let me trace that puzzle. Okay, now we're going to trace it. We're going to preview it. There's my puzzle pieces right there. And I'm going to hit apply. Okay, and I'm going to close that. All right, and now those are vectors right there. Let's turn off the bitmap layer. We don't need that on there anymore. And we turn the puzzle layer, or the layer 1, back on. Okay, now you got to start zooming in, and we're going to take this tool. We got to make sure that everything is ungrouped. Okay, by doing that, see how that they're not all one thing. If they're grouped, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go back to layer 1. Okay, if this bird was grouped, I'm going to highlight everything. Okay, and I'm going to group it right there. I can't cut those vectors if it's grouped. So I have to ungroup it. Okay, ungroup it if it was grouped. Ungroup onto original layers right there. Okay, and there it is. Okay, it's ungrouped now. Okay, there's the bird. There's the puzzle. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting this stuff out. And this is where it just takes time. Okay, we might want to make those puzzle pieces a little bit smaller. And what we could do is we could grab them all. Grab them all right here. And we could pull those in about like right there, I think. And there's our bird. Okay, that's going to be pretty close. We can come out a little bit further, a little bit down here on the bottom. Okay, we can just pull that down here this way a little bit. So we got to get it in that tail. Okay, so now let's start right down here on the tail. Okay, so now we got to start cutting this stuff out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these scissors right here. Okay, and you got to zoom in. I'm going to have to cut that. I'm going to have to cut that. I'm going to have to cut that. See, now that's part of the puzzle now. This is all going to have to cut out here. Right, you're just going to have to go through. See, now I'm going to have to cut that. And that, and this. It's just going to take time. See, and there's our puzzle piece. See how it goes in there? Right, now we come up here to this one. Right, because see there, you're just going to have to zoom back and forth in. I'm using my wheel to zoom in and out. Okay, anything inside that bird outline, see there's the bird outline, and you can turn that on and off now if you want to. You can turn the layer off, see, right there. Okay. All right, so now we go back in there and we're going to look at that. See, we cut that right there, cut that, cut that. Now you got to cut this to open that up. Whoop, we got wrong thing, so undo. So hit undo. I got to cut that line right there. Okay, now I got to come over. Now that's outside the bird, so we just got to get rid of it. Got to get rid of that. Okay, and I got to get rid of that. Okay, that can go because it's outside of the bird. Okay, now see how I can't cut that because there's nothing to cut. You have to delete that. Okay, so then I come over here to this one. I cut that one. I cut this one. And I cut that right there. I come here, and I got to cut that. Whoop, undo that. Sometimes you get those little mistakes right there. Come in there, cut that. Okay? Keep working my way down so I can see what's going on. Cut that and that, that and that. Okay, cut that. Okay, cut that right there. Okay, coming over here, cut that, get rid of all that. Whoop, gotta undo that. Undo that. And cut that. Cut this right here, that, and that. Okay, see how we're starting to get the puzzle pieces inside the bird?
She's home, or somebody's home.
Okay. Cut that, and that. See how we're getting those? And you cut that right there.
It's not home. Huh? I know. This is so cold.
Okay, True. Once we got all the puzzle pieces cut, we can see everything's open here now. We could do a little bit more cleaning up here. Like if you saw that right there, what you'd want to do is you want to right click on this line and go to your node editing mode, and see you could delete some of these modes. You could delete that point and that would smooth that line out a little bit. You delete that one there, and now that looks a little bit better. Then to get out of that mode, you go back and select this right here, and that's your thing. But now you can see this is all, it's all not one thing right now, and we got to make sure that everything is joined together. Okay, see, we can see that this here is not joined together, and we actually forgot one up here, so we need to go in there and cut that anyway. Okay, so that's why it's not joined, because they're not cut. See, when you cut it and you have that checked right there, it rejoins where we cut these. So we're going to cut that right there, okay, and I'm using my mouse to scroll in and out, okay, and then go right in there and cut that line there, and you'll see here, whoop, don't do that. If you do that, just hit undo, trim the vector, and get closer on it. Now that should be connected. Okay, so now we're going to draw a box around everything, so everything's highlighted, and then this right here, we'll see if there's any broken vectors. Okay, it says there's 4 open and we want to close them. Okay, so we want to join those, so now they should all be joined. So all our vectors are now joined. And we do that again, and see we have no open vectors anymore. See, it's showing we have no, so our product is ready. Okay, so now that we got our puzzle pieces in here, if you wanted to engrave all your puzzle pieces, which would be real easy to do now, highlight the whole thing again, go over here to your tool paths, select V-carve, okay, and we only want to go 1/8 of an inch deep, right? Select a bit. Okay, I'm going to use right here, I'm going to use my 60-degree bit, which is right there. I got it right there. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit calculate. Okay, so there it is. There. Now if we hit preview, there it just cut everything out. Now see those deeper ones, that's because the line's a little bit wider, so that looks pretty good right there. And then we could do a cutout right on that, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. So it looks pretty good there. There's our bird right there. Okay. And now if I wanted to cut that out, because it did that, we could highlight that right there. See how I highlighted just that one right there? And that's the whole outline of the bird. We could go back to my drawing side, go back to the drawing side and do an offset, And let's do it, just do it outwards of 1/16 of an inch. Okay, 1/16 equals, remember, and hit offset, and that gave me an offset now. Now I would move that offset to a new layer. I'd move that to a new layer, and I'd call that profile. Okay, and I'd call that profile. Okay, like that. Hit close, and now we're going to go back over to our other side right here. Right, we got that one line selected. We're going to hit profile, and we're going to do that with a selected bit. We're going to select a 1/4 inch end mill bit now. Okay, let's get a 1/4 inch end mill right there, and we're going to cut through there. This is my cut depth right here. We're going to cut 7/6 of an inch through the 3/4 inch piece of wood, because that's what I have this at right now. And hit calculate. It's going to tell us we're going to cut through our wood. We're going to hit OK. Preview all our tool paths, and there's our bird. Not too bad. That isn't hard. You should be able to watch this whole video, and you should be able to duplicate that. I'll save these files right in Sunday. I'll bring them over, and you can have them, and you can play around with that. All right?